It's Nomsa here at Ngosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, I have Carol Ann Cooper. How are you, Carol Ann?
I'm very well, thanks. And you?
I'm good, thank you. So our topic today is how to strive in a relationship, personal growth within a partnership. Today on this topic, we are going to focus on nurturing personal growth while being in a committed relationship. We will explore individuals, how individual can pursue their dreams and aspiration while still supporting their partner's growth journey. So our guests share stories. We're not guests, aren't we? Our coaches will share stories of personal development within the context of their relationship, illustrating how two individuals can strive and evolve together in a harmonious energy way. So over to you, Carol Ann. You chose this topic. I would love to know what was on your mind when you chose this topic, please.
Thriving rather than striving. It's so you can thrive within your relationship, but it's bringing personal development into with the partnership. And I was thinking how sometimes that can throw you apart, and actually sometimes it's avoided because there is that fear that it's going to force you apart, because sometimes that's what happens, because people change. You do personal development, people change. And are you going to like the person as they change? Do you want them to change? Because very often the person you got into a relationship with, it's how they are that you got drawn to. And so for them to change in some way, it's like, ooh, scary. So that might be worth exploring, because it wasn't something my ex-husband and I did. It wasn't really in my realm then. We'd started to do some bits of work in terms of we'd have acupressure. So that helped to relax, release, and give you a different focus. And for a while, we seemed to get really close. And actually, for a moment, we were the closest we'd ever been. And then it all just sort of went apart again. And I remember him saying, I thought we were supposed to, this was supposed to sort things out. And I said, well, take us wherever it takes us, And for us, we did end up parting company. But all these years later, I've worked with a few people and on other things, but somehow their relationship has come into it, and their relationship has thrived because they're both on a personal development journey, and because there's something that holds them together in terms of getting over the challenges that are shown up. And so I just thought it'd be worth exploring. How can you thrive by doing personal development in a relationship, when you're in a relationship or a partnership? So what were your thoughts when you saw it?
I love the topic. I love the topic is you can strive together with in partnership with your partner. First, you have to recognize your own journey, and then you recognize your spouse's journey. And then you can, if one person is into personal development, you can help your spouse, not by getting into the journey that you want for yourself, but you can help them based on their needs, what you see in them, who they could become, not what you want them to become. So what people make mistake is they want this, their spouse to change, their partner to change, but they want to change them based on how they would like to see them. But when you change, when you want somebody to change, you can help them to become who they are meant to become based on what you see in their dreams, their desires, and then you can actually help them in that way. I was reading Grant Cardone's wife's newsletter today, and he was saying he was called all sorts when he got together with him. But he said, she's saying at the time she got frustrated because she was in a acting industry, and they thought all she wanted was the money from Grant Cardone. But she said, I was getting angry. But when I stopped getting angry, it was when I started looking at Grant's dreams, his aspiration. Then I started helping him towards his dreams. And she was saying in that way, the real him came out more. She brought out the best in him by supporting him becoming the man that is meant to become, not what she thought he should be. So I think in that way, that's how we have to support each other in partnership, by recognizing our goals, our desires, and our partner's desires and their goals, so they can be who they want to become. And also cut the noise. We know when we go live with the audio, you have to make sure that the noise is clear, the background is clear, and all that. That happens in real life. Cut the noise from people telling you who you should be, what you can't, people's opinions, because they will stop you going where you need to be.
Absolutely. And cutting the noise is a great phrase.
Cut the noise.
Get it.
Yes.
And as you noted, it's like when you were saying that, I muted myself because there was a cough happening. So it's like you silence. It doesn't go out there.
Yeah.
And then you can open up the airwaves again and have a conversation that's positive, that hasn't got all the noise in between. And I certainly love what you're saying about it's recognizing each other's journey, but you do need to recognize your own first.
Yeah.
And then recognize your partners. That is important. And it is, as you said, it's not about who you want them to become. It's about allowing them to become who they could possibly be. That grow into someone bigger than they already are. It's bringing out what's already inside, and it's allowing that to happen. And knowing that could be someone completely different to who you know now. Their behavior is different. The way they think is different, but there will be aspects of them that are still the same, but it's allowing that journey to happen. But the more you can acknowledge and recognize your own journey and stand in that, in your own strength, and to get to know yourself, it gives you that power to be able to be with that other person's journey as well. And there is a there's a power within having your individual growth. It actually enhances your well-being because you don't have that discomfort inside and a niggle, knowing that you're not really being true to yourself. If you're trying to please the other person, or you're not letting yourself go on a journey of self-discovery because the other person doesn't want you to, by allowing that to happen, your relationship can flourish because your health will improve in that way, because you'll be happier with yourself. You'll be happier with your partner. I remember I got day release from the job that I was in to go and do my degree, a Bachelor of Science in Maths. And when I started it, it was a 3-year. I was able to do it in 3 years because I had my teaching certificate, I was able to go straight into the second year because it was a 4-year course, but I was able to go straight into the second year, which meant I'd do it in 3 years. But my husband's response or reaction was, oh no, that means we've got to stay here. What if we want to move? What if I want to move on? Or da-da-da-da. And it was like this. And I'm going, if we have to move, we have to move. I'm sure I could do this elsewhere. But he was very negative, didn't want me to do that. But I did it. I had a part of me that was always, don't tell me I can't do something because I'm going to do it. And it was that kept me going with it. And did see it through and did succeed in the end. But it was that initial, he felt like he was being trapped because he was somebody who liked to move around or have the possibility of being able to move. So that can happen, but it's being it, and really that didn't help because I mean it's not a harmonious way of doing it. If you're having to fight to get it done, and I was constantly having to find time where I could do my work and constantly being distracted by him because he wanted my attention. And I didn't feel like he was encouraging me to do it because there was never that, oh, you want some time? Okay, get on with it. It was always attention. And I just felt like I had to fight all the way through to keep going with it. But it does. So this is where I was saying, it enhances your well-being if you allow each other to go their journeys. What is it they're wanting to explore? What is it they're wanting to learn about? And what is key here is communication. Yes, express your fears, but it's being able to talk about it and resolve it so that you do support each other and maintain that sense of self. Because if you know yourself, then you're maintaining your sense of self rather than, melting together and losing your identity. And we were talking about that the other day, weren't we? About possibility of losing your identity. This helps you to maintain your own sense of identity. So it is important to acknowledge each other's journey, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There will be challenges along the way, but it is being positive, it's being supportive, but it's certainly being in communication and talking it through, talking all the time, sharing each other's dreams, but being interested. Be interested in what the other person is doing. Even if it's not something that really interests you, be interested, because there's something that shifts in that being interested. You don't need to take it up yourself, whatever it's a hobby or something that they're doing, but by being interested, you can at least hear their enjoyment or what they're getting out of it, and it can then be reciprocated. But it does need to be reciprocated. You do need to have that interest in what the other person's doing. So certainly, yes, don't try and change them. Allow them to grow into who they can possibly be. See them as a bigger person than that they already are, and let them grow into that. And this is what personal development is. It's a journey of self-discovery. Who are we, really? And it's that question, who am I, really? Who am I? Great question to explore. What am I capable of? What am I here for? And, I've seen relationships really strengthen when each have stood their ground and they've come back together. They've had their spat, and then but they've come back together, they've talked it through, and there's something stronger that comes out of it, and then they, can continue. So it certainly can positively influence your connection by allowing each other to have your own individual growth in that way. What else are your thoughts on that, Nomsa?
I love it when you talk about identity. I think what frustrates most people the most is losing their identity in a relationship. Is when somebody enters a relationship, people don't understand. We enter a relationship to have a partnership with that person, to still become the person that we are meant to become, not what we should become, to actually trying to fit in with the other person. But what happens is people, they end up losing their identity, the connection with friends, and some part with family because of relationship, or maybe they lose connection with their activities because they want to please their spouse. But when that relationship ends, it becomes a stagnation, because you feel like you had to make a compromise for somebody else. You had to put that person first. But if you actually keep your own identity and have that relationship, let somebody enter your world, like Tony Robbins says, enter someone's world. Me, I call it, because there's a link between two people when people have a relationship. So I call it enter the spirit of love, because those people, they enter, they connect with each other, they start getting to know each other's wants and desires. But it doesn't mean that you have to give up your desires. You can support somebody by acknowledging, communicating your want and your desires, and also listening to them, what they want, the things they want to achieve, their dreams, so you can support them become that person, not by forcing them. Some people, they do force. They are like, if you don't want to do this, I'm out in this relationship. That becomes a stronghold without forcing them. But when you actually support somebody become the person that they are meant to become, if you, like you mentioned, self-awareness, Carol Ann, self-awareness is the foundation to growth. So when you are aware of who you are meant to become, and the other person, they are aware of who they are meant to become, that journey, their personal journey, it becomes very, very easy, because it means you cultivate awareness and understanding regarding your strength, your weaknesses, and also your values and your beliefs. And also that contributes positivity in a relationship. And you mentioned communication as well. And those are the things that are very, very, very important in a relationship. When we communicate, we let the other person know who we are, what we desire in life. And that's why the roles of a man and a woman, that's where they come in, where a man has to know his role in a relationship, where a woman has to know her role in a relationship. A man's role, he is an architect. He has to have dreams. He has to have a vision for his family. And that's when the woman comes in. She's a helper. A woman is a helper. So when a woman is a helper, we are not meant to actually fight people physically and emotionally. We are meant to help. Women are designed to help. So if a woman knows her role in a relationship, that, okay, my man has a vision. So I am designing not to force, not to push, not to talk them out of their dreams, but I am designed to cultivate, to help that dream come to reality by making sure that this person that I'm partner with, they just bring out the best in somebody. But some people, they don't, because when the minute I can tell you, Carol Ann, this is real. The minute a woman sees a man, some women, they want their men to succeed because they love them so much and they want them to become who they want to become. But sometimes when a man or when a woman takes a personal development books and start reading, changing a little bit by bit, the other person starts going, oh, what's going on? Because they're not communicating. What's going on? Is she having an affair? Is he having an affair? Why is the personality changing? Why is she changing? Who is she changing for? But instead of actually motivate, they bring each other down. So anyone that is watching, if you see your spouse changing, they're not changing because they're cheating on you. Sometimes I get loads of like messages, people saying, oh, maybe sometimes my spouse is not talking, is changed because I'm like, why are you making the head is designed to make things up, to Google things that don't exist. So I'm like, just bring your mind together. Don't worry about things. It's like sometimes people go on dates. When the other person doesn't reply on time or they don't tell them the dates they don't reply, they will start making things up in their head. Do you think he likes me? Do you think he's even bothered? You would think he would just be text me and let me know what is going on. So I'm like, the poor guy was crucified. When you go on a date, it's a crucifixion. So he is actually figuring out. Maybe he liked the girl so much, and the guy is figuring out, wow, this journey that I'm about to take right now, if I tell this girl I like her, am I making the right decision? So the guy is actually thinking the right things maybe, and the girl is like, he should be, he can't even be bothered to text me. I'm like, calm down. So and then you find the next day the guy texts and say, I've had a lovely time. I've been thinking about things. Would you like to go on any next date? So that's what happens in life. So I think we are meant to see good things in people. That's what I do anyway. I choose to see good in people. If people have whatever they have, that is not good. That's not my story. I always say I choose to see good in people, because whatever the story that we can choose to see, sometimes it's not a real story. When you choose to see good in people, I have gone through times where, like with my business, where sometimes I go through, like right now, the website is meant to go live, but my web designer, the website has been communicating with the domain people, so they will not been understanding. They've been communicating the right code, but they have not been, my web designer gets angry, this guy gets angry. So I've decided to step into the middle. So I said to the web designer, send me the email, explain exactly what you want them to do, and then I will pass over the email. So I had to speak to the owner. He explained to me what he needs, what the web designer needs to put an email and write. See, if you're married, your relationship it's everything. So then then I tell the web designer, write this email like this. So he raised, because I'm tired. I am tired. They've delayed me. I'm like, calm down. Let's just do this. We're doing this now. We got to calm down. So he's writing it and sending an email, and then I send it over. So now I'm in the middle now. So then I send it over, and then that department, she comes back very understanding. So she wants something. She wants him to do something, convert it into a document. So I tell him, and then he goes really angry, because it's going to take me 5 hours. I'm like, calm down. We can do this. Do you want me to have a meeting? Let's go to the meeting. I can copy and paste it for you. So he goes, okay, I'll do it. It does it. It does it. So I've sent the information over. Now everything is fine. So the other side has sent me an email saying everything is fine. It's all under control. They are now putting the codes to make sure they match everything. So once they match everything, now the website can go live. So, but the other one was getting hoo-ha, and the other one is getting hoo-ha. The reason why I'm sharing this, it happens with the relationship. You will find that people are fighting for no reason. But if you were to stand in the middle and say, okay, tell your story and tell your story, when they're both telling each other, they will laugh because they realize that actually there's nothing to fight for.
Exactly.
So communication, like what you're saying, Carol Ann, communication is very, very important, and understand each other's dreams. It's very, very important.
I think what's come out here is very clear, is that actually you need to know your triggers, what triggers you, and deal with it. You know, well done for you, you stood in the middle and you were able to then diffuse, you know, because something was triggering him. It's like, oh gosh, okay, so it triggered you. Just be with the trigger, let it go, calm down, because actually that doesn't get you anywhere. As you say, it was just holding everything up. It's causing even more confusion and anger and unrest. And so it's just being calm, focused. Just see what the trigger is and diffuse the trigger, because that is what happens in relationships, very much so. And so if you can understand your triggers and then talk about it and come from a place of, right, well, this is what happened when you did this, not you did this to me, and it's being able to communicate in a way that you can then do something about between you, share it. You can diffuse it, find other ways of doing things. But ultimately, it's about being able to be together. And you said something about the making up a story. The person didn't reply. They didn't answer, or they didn't show up. And yes, we are these great meaning-making machines. He doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't want to know me, or he thinks that, We create stories. And all that happened is they didn't reply. They didn't show up. And we go off on a tangent and create everything about this story about ourselves. Just stick with what happened and deal with what happens afterwards, That's all that happened. Find out. Okay, so they didn't show up. You've got to talk to them, find out. And if they're not answering, they're not answering. Let it go. Because the more you keep going on about it and going, oh, they're not answering, so there must be something wrong with me. And you start, you're making it about yourself. At the end of the day, it's nothing about you. You've got no idea what's going on for that person.
Yeah.
What's happened, what caused them not to shut, what's causing them not to answer. And what was lovely was the other day, a friend of mine, I hadn't got round to replying to her messages. And I was very conscious of it. So sort of energetically, I was sending her lots of love and positivity, because she was going through quite a sticky time. And physically, she's struggling. But also, she had a day of clearing, and it was beautiful. And I'm going, oh, lovely, so I was excited for her. And that, so, but somehow I couldn't quite reply. And then she messaged me the other day, said, how are you doing? And then I still couldn't somehow reply. I wanted to, and I'd been thinking her as well. She said, oh, I was thinking of you. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I was thinking of you, wanting to, message. But somehow it didn't happen. And then she said, oh, are you okay? Have I done something to upset you? I was thinking, no. And then she said something beautiful. Or are you just in a bubble? I thought, thank you. And I just literally messaged her back, said, I'm in a bubble. We'll get back to you later. Because I couldn't say anything else. Somehow, in that time, it was nothing to do with her. It was all about me, where I was at. But being able to just acknowledge that and do that and give that person that time and understanding, But it is the communication, just that reassurance as well. And then it wasn't actually till the next day that I got back, and I replied to each of her messages, and I did it as a voice note rather than typing it in, because somehow I couldn't. I just thought somehow typing it in didn't seem like something I wanted to do. It just felt a bit onerous, and it was easier to talk it through. So that's how I replied, and I got it done. And all of a sudden we're, talking again, and it's okay. But it is being in communication, and it is making sure that you don't take it personally, because it isn't personal. So certainly know what your triggers are, and don't watch where you're making it mean something when they're not in contact. Just ask a question and just go, okay, do you need a bit of space at the moment? I'm here when you're ready. Just let me know. It's just being open and accepting. So just balancing things up and having that recognition. It was something.
In
really
the sheet, I'm not sure sign says on LinkedIn, it says, I appreciate your clarity of mind and conviction in relationship. His first message says, brilliant thought process on relationship.
Okay.
So that's for you, Carol Ann.
Okay. For both. Both of us, we're both saying the same things in our things, so thank you.
Yeah.
That's lovely to hear, and it's nice that, when someone feeds back, and it's about feeding back, knowing what you want to say and then being able to feed back. But communication is so key, because you keep coming back to that, and being able to listen and get to know the other person. But you have to know yourself. Bottom line is, if you don't know yourself, you're stuck, because you can't explain, you can't make a stand. Your boundaries, you don't know what they are. All you know is that something isn't right, but you can't explain it. So it's getting to know yourself is key and is paramount to all of this, and then being able to explain and work with that. And it is about embracing the changes and the evolution together. If you're in that partnership, it's acknowledging things are changing. Oh, wow. And maybe you're a bit scared. It's like, oh my goodness, you're changing. And this is what I'm noticing. And I don't know if I'm quite comfortable with this. And then just go, okay, all you said is, I don't know if I'm quite comfortable with this. Okay, so how can we explore that? How can the other person say, well, how can I support you in that? And it is about finding a way of supporting each other by acknowledging that there is this change going on. The key is being flexible, and so that you can navigate the transition. That word transition, we spoke about that the other week, didn't we? Again, it's a transition. We're always transitioning. And so by doing personal development, each doing it, you're changing, it's navigating those changes. But it's about being flexible rather than stuck and rigid, because that's what will break you. It's about being flexible, being open, and having that growth mindset where you're open to growth and possibility. Because this is a great opportunity for strengthening your connections through communication. And I love this phrase, unwavering support. You don't waver. You're there for each other, and you show that in your commitment. Yeah, it's unwavering. What wavers may be how you're feeling, and that's what you need to acknowledge, but it's your support for each other. As long as that's, that doesn't waver, the other person will get that, and it really keeps you together. I love this quote here. I've got, the beauty of personal growth within relationships lies in the realization that we elevate not just ourselves, but our love as well. There's something that deepens in your love and respect to each other when you can work together and work through the challenges and the changes that are happening. And there's one other I love here. Love flourishes when we encourage each other to grow as individuals, nurturing a relationship that blossoms with the beauty of personal development. Isn't that beautiful? It's like it blossoms. You got together, it's only the start. By you doing personal development, nourishing each other, allowing it to happen, it's like it flourishes and it blossoms. And it becomes something bigger than it started, something even more beautiful. And that love there that just deepens. So personal development, I think, is key to relationships thriving rather than just existing. You know, it's a beautiful word, isn't it? Thriving. Rather than striving to exist and keep going. It's just, you thrive. You thrive. What's coming up? Are you thinking now, Namsa?
I like when you say a relationship, when we're in a relationship, it's all about striving, because relationship is not easy to find. It's easy to find the people that are compatible, but at the same time, it's easy to actually the partnership to break away, because when we get into a relationship, we don't embrace the change. And we forget to adapt to that change, because change is a critical component for personal growth. Just allowing that change, embracing who we are becoming in that relationship. And also, if you maintain that change, you maintain that growth together, it will actually maintaining a strong bond between two people, and also share experiences. When you share experiences, you're creating meaningful memories. I always say, because sometimes when people enter a relationship, they're like, I need my spouse, they have to like everything that I like. And I'm like, you want to meet somebody that likes everything that you like, is going to be boring in a relationship, because you need some interest that you can actually go and do them with your friends, and come back and talk about it to your spouse. It's like with Martin, if you ask him about it, oh, I forgot to tell you the good partnership. So do you remember I told you actually police said they caught the suspect, the person that was sending him threats?
Mm-hmm.
There was Martin, they caught, because what happens is I give him the letter to read. So he touched the letter. So when he touched the letter, means his fingerprints are implanted in that letter. So the police comes and pick the letter up. I give them the letter. So they keep talking about the suspects. The suspects, we've been to the suspects, his place is not there. So I'm like, and then he goes, he tells me the other day, it's been going on for 3 months. And then he goes the other day, he goes, I have to go to the police station. Apparently, I am the suspects for sending you a hateful letter. I was like, oh, is the letter you touched? So like, a partnership that is sending you to prison. Because he touched the letter and he was talking, and he goes, I think you need to call the police. They need to know about this. So I did, and we forgot when they came.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them that somebody touched the letter. And luckily my daughter didn't even touch it. She just read it. I held it and then she read it. So that's why one fingerprint came up. Otherwise, all of them fingerprints.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm laughing.
The good news is he didn't end up at the police station because I had to tell them that no, the fingerprints is a mistake. So
Yeah.
I asked him to read the letter, so he touched the letter. So we didn't think. So that's
Yeah.
where the fingerprints came up, and the woman was like, "Oh, I understand now."
Yeah. Oh, good. Whew.
Yeah, she was like, I understand now. It makes sense. So I was like, no, he is not a suspect. He wouldn't actually dare to do anything to threaten anyone. So he's not a suspect. Just leave him alone. So she was like, yeah, I do understand. So
But it's not about he wouldn't dare. He's not like that. It's not his nature.
no, it's not like that. So I was, but it was so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, oh my goodness.
It
So
was
easily done
really,
though,
really.
isn't it? So easily done. And it's good job you remembered, because it's like, what? You can so easily forget. So,
Yeah, yeah, because
yeah.
the minute he told me, I just laughed. And he was like, why are you laughing? I'm telling you, I'm going to the police station tomorrow. Do you want to come with me? I was like, so it's the letter that you touched. That's why it's suspecting.
Oh, bless him. All
I just,
sorted. Oh, good.
yeah, it's a partnership. Yeah, it's a partnership. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
And right here is what is key, is like getting that understanding, but being able to laugh, bringing humor into
Yeah.
a situation just diffuses everything. And it's like, oh, you can move on. And yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny when he told me. I was really laughing, and he goes, "Why are you laughing?" It was like, it's actually funny. And I was with my clients, and we just laughed. It
Yeah. Okay.
was like, that's so funny. Just going to, and it was like they asked him to actually, they had spoken to him and asked him to bring a solicitor as well, but he said, I'm not. And they were like, can we get you a solicitor? And I was like, okay, then if you feel that that is the case, but I haven't got a clue what you're all talking about. So when he actually called me, I reminded him, I said, yes, it is the letter that you touched. He had
Oh,
even forgotten
bless.
about the letter as well. So it's so funny. And
Yeah.
the woman, she was texting me all the time, and she tells me the suspect. So I didn't know who they were talking about. So they even had Martin's old address. They were actually chasing him on his old address where he
Oh,
lived with his dad.
oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partnership where it can lead you to prison.
Oh no.
But
I know it.
it's so funny because I had to,
Mm,
I had to actually, he wasn't upset about it. He was fine. And the woman, she was nice. She just called him and said, you know what? Just forget about it.
yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also at the conflict, you have to, once you respectfully conflict resolution, because in relationship there will be conflict,
Yeah.
so you have to know how to resolve things and not push things under the carpet. Disagreements will always be there.
Mm.
Avoiding blame and criticism, of approaching disagreement as an opportunity to grow and understand. And I've seen mostly, I think 80% of people, they don't resolve problems. They sweep things under the carpet.
Yeah.
They prefer not to go there. But
Mm.
me, I like to solve problems, and I like to forget about them. I like to solve them. And when I solve them, I don't want to go there. And when other problems they appear, what happened? Oh yeah. The other day, what did I do?
Don't know. What did you
What am
do?
I talking about? I don't know what I forgot talking about anyway.
Okay, it'll come if you.
Yeah, it will come back. Yeah, it will come back again.
You were talking about conflicts.
Yeah, conflicts. Yeah, I was talking about conflicts. I wanted to remember something else, but I actually forget what I was. Yeah, we're going to a wedding on Friday. So Martin was winding me up yesterday. He goes, you guys have got all the clothes and everything. Do I really need to go shopping? Do I really need to go to this wedding? And I was like, you are actually winding me up, and to not wind me up like that. And he's looking at me, he's laughing. It's like, can you imagine? You're winding me up. And if you were with somebody who likes to fight, I would be really giving you the fight right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to understand how to solve conflict. For me, people, if I tell people that I don't fight in relationship, honestly. Whenever there is something that I don't understand, I ask questions. In this house, they call me nosy Parker, or sometimes they say I always ask questions, but now I think they are realizing that I don't fight people. I ask questions. If there's anything that I don't understand or something that I'm not happy with, I always ask questions, or I always communicate and put myself out there. And it solves too many arguments, because when you don't understand something, you have to communicate it, but some people, they don't. And I've seen it even with Martin's family. They like sweep things under the carpet. Me, I speak. Me, I speak. Because I want to know the questions. I speak. And if there is something that is happening, I always try to find out what is going on. But so at the time, I think, because I was raised that way, to be honest, at the time, at first, I think they thought, oh, what's the heck? What is going on? But now they're realizing that actually that is my character. I speak my mind. Not like speaking your mind, like saying things of hurtful people. If there is something that I don't understand, I always ask, how does this work? Or how is this one doing? Or what? Or sometimes it's like, Martin is dead now, is in a care home. So when we go, if I say, or somebody is going to visit, sometimes I hear people telling me what he didn't do, what he did long time ago. So I'm like, why telling me a story? This is the present moment. So for me, I have one thing in my life, that you can either love somebody with all your heart without any obligations or any reminding them what they did wrong or what they didn't do. So you can love them, accept them for who they are, help them to become the person that they want to become. Or the other choice you have, you can step back and not get involved at all. So I always say all those things, even with my family, they know it. Like, if I'm doing something, somebody will be asking me a story in a relationship. Why are you doing this? Why are you helping this person? I'm like, it's simple. I'm doing it because I want to do it. Even in a relationship, Carol Ann, sometimes people, for them, instead of getting on with love, we crucify each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You put that altar. I said to my clients, I said to her, because she is so beautiful. I've received her pictures before, and she wasn't happy the first time when we met. So I said to her, let's meet in person. I like to know your story, hear your story. So then she's not happy because she's single. So I'm meeting her. This girl, she's so beautiful. Her smile, the way she speaks, very confident. So I'm like, oh, I'm confused. What happened? What did I meet on the video? So I'm like confused. So we're talking. So I said to her, listen, we can put people, there's this category of women we put there. We think they are happy, they are not happy. We put this category where they are like size 6, where men are looking nowadays, men are looking younger ones model. I had one of the matchmakers the other day saying, I'm done with these men that are coming to joining the matchmaker. They are 60 and they want to date a 20-year-old. So I was like, welcome to the club. I disagree with it. I don't agree with it. So for me, I wouldn't take even their money. I kick them out. I'm like, if you are looking for love, come back. But if you are looking for a supermodel, then go somewhere else. Because there's a difference between looking for love and looking for somebody 30 years younger than you. The mindset is not in the same place. Because if you are, like, let's say you are 50, you can date up to 30 something. It's understandable. But if you go down to 20, I'm not sure how it works, but all I see is a disaster.
Okay, interesting. So if all you see is disaster, that's what you'll get.
Yes, I
Why
see.
Why not breathe possibility into it?
No, there's no possibility for love because honestly, if you're 50, you date a 20-year-old, you have to date somebody who actually knows exactly what they want, who is mature, who is driven about life. And there are girls you can get them, but there are few, 5 out of millions. There are 5. So out of that 5, if you are a 50-year-old and you want to date somebody who is 20 something, then the relationship is not going to work because a 50-year-old, they don't have time for games anymore. They've learned things. They've traveled. They've learned. They've done wrong things. They've learned from. They don't see mistakes as mistakes. They've learned from their journey. But a 20-year-old, they're still finding themselves. They're still identity confused.
Okay. But what if you've got an old soul in a young body,
There are old souls that are confused. So Rachel put a message and saying, I'm done with these men, that one supermodel. Because when somebody comes in and they have worked really hard and they have money and they want a billionaire and they want to date a 20-year-old, you are like, what's the heck? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a supermodel to travel around the world? To me, it's not love.
No.
So that's what we mean when we say we are done, we are done. It's like either you want to pay 100 grand or 100,000 grand for me to find you that 20-year-old. I'm like, no, thank you. If you want to find love, come by. Because what we're talking about, partnership, is very, very, you have to be compatible with the mindset. And life is a journey. We find it's like if I look at my pictures when I was 20, when I was 18, I don't want to be in that place anymore. I like this place where I found my identity. It's beautiful. So if I was to date somebody or get married with somebody who see life the same way like I see, I'm good to go. I don't want to date somebody who is still in a confused.com. But there are people who are my age, they are still confused. Yeah, they are still confused. Yep. They don't know. But they're confused, but at the same time, they're a little bit better. So don't worry, I'm not criticizing any age or anything. It's just when it comes to matchmaking, we get exposed in so many things where people confuse love and modeling with women and modeling with men. So if you go to somebody like, let's say you want to date, like what you're saying, personal growth within, you want a partnership, you want a man who you're going to have a partnership, it goes deep. Really, really deep. The looks, the everything is the energy that comes with it. But if you are really, really looking for love, whatever God knows your destiny. So he will bless you with the man that he believes to be true about your life. But if we date because we are looking for supermodel, or we are looking for women, we think women our age, they are older, then we might have crisis there. But you might pray to God and God might bless you with a woman who is 20, who is exactly knows, they are 20-year-old who knows exactly what they want. But don't trust me, they are few. So I'm not criticizing anybody, but I'm just saying sometimes you have to make your common sense, because divorce, partnership, when we talk about partnership, I don't know about you, Carol, and we talk about everything, the umbrella of love. Personal development as a team, conflict, how to resolve conflict, balancing independence and togetherness, practicing gratitude. So all those things, the list goes on. So
it's a long list, isn't it? There's a lot. It isn't just, and it's something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
You need an attitude of, this is lifelong learning.
Yeah.
It's constant personal development within a relationship. If you want your relationship to thrive and to grow and to blossom, then it is a lifelong learning of personal development.
Okay.
And one of the things you're saying about
mine says, Carol Anne, too, compatibility of minds is important. I agree with him. People have to be compatible with the mindset. And what else is he saying to you, Carol Anne? He's saying, yes, there is a significant difference between a companion and sugar daddy and a trophy wife.
Yes. And I love you were saying about don't confuse love.
Yeah.
That is so key. It's what do you think love is? What is it that you're looking for in a relationship?
Yeah.
And if, is what you're looking for actually love? Because if it's not, then you're not going to achieve that, and it will fall apart.
Yeah.
There was something will shift and change, and it's not strong enough, because that if it's not based on wanting to deepen and grow the love that's there, then it won't amount to anything. It'll just wither and fade away or die or just go like this, because it hasn't got the strength.
No.
When you do personal development and you can develop that love, it strengthens that bond, that love there. That's the key here. And it is about being able to face conflicts.
Yeah.
Face things, rather than, say, brush them under the carpet. And I know that was something I was never good at. Our family, we didn't face conflicts. We didn't confront. We were non-confrontational. And so there was a lot of things within my ex-marriage that I didn't confront. It was just like, just put it to one side, but it niggles inside. And therefore you get that unhealthy feeling. You're not healthy. So being able to confront it, face conflict and talk it through, it helps with your, for you to be healthy. And I love what you were saying about creating meaningful memories. What a beautiful phrase.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. And meaningful memories, it could be something that you've gone through. You've gone through this conflict and you've come out the other side. Something happened. It's just meaningful memories that you can create and look back on and acknowledge. And it is important to celebrate, acknowledge what's transformed, what you've come through, and celebrate. Always celebrate any successes that you've had, whether it's in the growth of your relationship or whether it's your partner's success in what they're achieving. But there is one key thing I just like to leave people with, that thought also of transforming the idea of, if you're going through a conflict and you feel like, oh, time apart, there's that beautiful phrase, isn't it? Time apart. Reframe it into giving yourself space, a bit of time and space, so that you can breathe, a bit of space separately. You can breathe, you can integrate, you can process, and then come back together and discuss. I think it's got a different energy to it, because it's actually acknowledging that there is some processing that needs to happen here. And sometimes we do need to do that for ourselves. So it's okay to take yourself away from the space and give yourself time and space somewhere else to process, to integrate, to get to know, what you want, who you are, and what is changing, and then come back together again and discuss it, rather than, oh, let's have time apart. Because I think that phrase in itself is almost like it's a split, isn't it? It's got a different energy. But by acknowledging, I just need this time for me just to breathe. It's just that breather, because when you're a bit together, it can get a bit intense. It's like you can't see the wood for the trees. You come out, give yourself that breather. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, you get clarity. You can see things more clearly. And then you can face whatever it is that you weren't able to before, or get through, and then talk about it and discuss it. So certainly, find ways of having that continual personal development growth, giving yourself the space is needed for it, whether it's together or individual. Because as a partner, relationships stay together. You actually, perhaps create time away together as well as time away separately. You make it work. You make it work. So love flourishes when we encourage each other to grow as individuals, nurturing a relationship that blossoms with the beauty of personal development. I read that out earlier because I think that's a beautiful one. It's about that blossoming. And a thriving partnership is a tapestry of individual growth, where each thread of personal development weaves a stronger bond between hearts. What a beautiful thought. So you have those thoughts about it, it just help. It's that positive mindset. It's that attitude of growing together and blossoming. So,
grow together and grow together, and also learn how to deal with stress, because stress destroys a relationship. Like nowadays with work, there's too much pressure. Like when I was doing the communicating with the website designer, normally I go through, there's a secretary, and then she would pass through all the messages that need to be done, but I decided to communicate with them direct. In the end, I was like, this is exhausting. Honestly, I said to the guy, being a web designer is exhausting. I've never realized how much information that you need to do. And also is you have to deal with the stress. It made me realize, actually, because sometimes I get home and then he will request the information, and luckily I've already got things ready. I just go and press send on my phone. So it could easily be stressed even at home. You have to know how to cope. Like myself, I pray a lot and I fast. And when I fast in a prayer, it helps me to deal with the stress. When everybody else is screaming and shouting, and I'm like, I'm laughing. When problems comes, I just calm down. So when I was dealing with him, and I was like, this is what this woman has to, Sarah, the Desi secretary, has to deal with. I was like, it's too much hassle. It's like he running another business. I was like, honestly, but it opened my eyes when I get home. Like sometimes I'm working. The minute I finish work, 6 o'clock, I'm at home, and then he's demanding the information. The children are at home. I'm cooking. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll just go and send it because it's already there. So you have to be aware of stress when you go to work. Come home, if there's something that is bothering you at work, talk about it. Some people bring it at home. When the woman is trying to communicate, they are like, they react because of what they are feeling at work. They bring it at home. So try to talk about it. And another spouse try to listen, because that person needs to confide in somebody. If they're really, really stressed and they want to communicate with you and you tell them they left their socks on the floor or they didn't do what they didn't do, the blame, then they'll feel so frustrated. Their only way to go home will be maybe to go get McDonald's after work, just to avoid the conflict. So avoid the stress at work. I've learned so much when I was working with this guy, the web designer. I was like, this is a nightmare. Really, really nightmare. Somebody, because before somebody else has to go through, you know, like sometimes I do these things, I hire people to do things. But even though Des said to me, Nomsa, work with Sarah, make sure the website is okay. So I decided, okay, let me deal with this web designer. It sounds very nice. He sounded really nice when he introduced himself. I was like, I would just send him the information directly, but only did I knew what is the big work was going to be. But I had to keep my calm. But now I'm in a point where I'm realizing I'm going to appreciate him more. And I'm going to appreciate my family at home as well. I appreciate my family for being patient with me. So those are the things you have to be aware in a relationship, that we are all human beings. We have work. We work businesses, or some people, they work 9 to 5. It's still the stress is there.
Yeah.
So that awareness of the other person when they come home, just unity.
Yeah.
Time
Unity.
and the place. Timing.
Timing, yeah.
Timing and connection.
We're running out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol Ann, you are very authentic. I love that. Yeah, she is very authentic. She's my favorite anyway. Yes. There's quite few that I like that are really, really authentic. I like people who are easy to work with, really authentic. Not if I need something, you tell me to go and get a train or go and take the reason, you tell me 20 the reason why you can't do it. So yeah, I love Carol Ann. She's authentic.
Thank you.
That is your comment for the day, Carol Ann.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
I think, Carol Ann, would you like to tell our audience where they can find you, please?
Yeah, you can.
And I think you've done your words of encouragement as well.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and I have a Facebook group called Get Your Book Written. So do come and find me, find out what I'm up to, how I help people with writing their stories, but also linking writing with how that also improves relationships, because that's like a magical aspect that just comes out as well. So do come and find me and let me know what you're doing, where you're at, and let's link up.
Let's link up. You can find me on LinkedIn and I think I'm everywhere on social media. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, but please don't send me a message on Instagram. I get too many messages on Instagram. And if you want to send me a message on Facebook and LinkedIn. My Instagram is too big. Sometimes I can't read all the messages because I like to reply to everyone. So if you want me to reply to you quick, just go on LinkedIn or Facebook, send me a message or email me. I don't have a website at the moment. My website is being done.
It's about to open up.
Yeah, I think, it's going to take 24 hours or 48 hours after these codes have been put up. But I miss my other website. So, yeah, I'm grieving. Pray for me.
Okay. And it was something we have to face because things change. And
Yeah.
that is another point. Our
Yeah.
relationship changes. Who we were
Yes.
changes. Allow yourself to grieve
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
And then move on and embrace the new. So that is
Yeah.
really important. So yeah, good point there. Good point,
Yeah,
Tony.
I'm grieving for my old website because I
Yeah.
know it's there, but I can't do anything about it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
New
you
one
can
is new.
find me, or even on YouTube. You can send me a message on YouTube, but that's fine. And we have a group actually in Gozi Talk Shows group, and we have another group, Unique Billionaire Mindset, where people can share mindset growth. So you can join those two groups. They will be on the website, I think now, so everyone can access them very, very quickly. So I've noticed that the web designer has put them on the website. So that will be easy for people to find. And what else can you, if you want to get in touch with our coaches or connect with our coaches, and mostly if you are looking for love harmonist is not what NOMSA does. I harmonize love. Love is what I do. If you're looking for the true one, I am all yours. So just get in touch with me. Even if you can't find my website, you can still find me on Google Map and send me a message direct from there as well. I forgot about Google Map. You can find my phone number, office number, email number, everything, or you can send me a message. So that would be beautiful. If you are looking for coaching as well, you can get in touch with me. And there are different options, love options, find your own voice options. God bless everyone and live with grace.
Yes.